Y'all know what's crazy about this whole situation? I watched Tekashi 6ix9ine, the interview that he had on the Shade Room, and before I get to that, I do want to talk about Gillie the Kid kind of like exposing like Tekashi 6ix9ine off of him wanting Gillie the Kid on $1 million worth of game to do the interview for him, and Gillie the Kid pretty much recorded the conversation, which is kind of wild. Gillie, I do gotta say that, man. That's kind of wild. Like, this guy's like, you know, the worst case of, snitching and stuff like that, and you record a conversation when you're talking to somebody like that. But I could kind of understand in a sense, like, yeah, you dealing in media and you're kind of a big brand, you're talking to somebody. He could, the type of kid this guy is, kind of twist things to make it seem like it is something that it's not, but you released the audio pretty much showing that Tekashi was talking crazy about DJ Academics, which is a guy that, I would say in the beginning, like, of everything, you know what I mean? He was kind of just like against like Tekashi 6ix9ine, talking crazy about him because Tekashi was locked up. Second, Tekashi gets out, he's released, Academics just like all around him, you know what I mean? Just trying to be like his best friend. And I found that it was interesting that, Tekashi 6ix9ine talked so crazy about, DJ Academics and the reveal that Gillie the Kid did, because it's like, yo, I see it as like, Academics is trying to be cool with this dude so he can, get the interview with him, and that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he goes ahead and he kind of snakes Academics, but he could be looking at it like, yo, you was talking crazy about me. So, yeah, if I say something about you, it don't really matter, like, at that point. But, he's trying to do a business deal, snaking Academics, talking crazy about Joe. And to me, I just think it's wild because because Tekashi actually tried to get an interview on Joe's platform, and Joe said that he ended up recording a conversation with Tekashi 6ix9ine. So it's kind of like wild, like being in, media from their standpoints. If, like Gillie the Kid is a street dude, you recording a conversation, but then you blast it to the public. I understand there's two parts to that. You kind of just like, you want to take your stance and say, yo, like, this is not about views. I got $1 million worth of game. I'm rocking. I don't need this type of person or this type of energy to be involved in anything that I got going on. You know what I mean? Even if it's an interview, he's saying this is the biggest thing that I would ever do. I think the biggest thing I've ever done is having my kid, this, that, and the third. I don't think that's what Tekashi meant. I think he meant, numbers wise, that would probably be the biggest thing that you would have done like on your platform. My thing is, for you to be ultra street, why are you going ahead and recording somebody and blasting it out? Like, you didn't have permission to put that out there. So that's kind of wild to me, but I still rock with Gillie the Kid. $1 million worth of game. You know what I mean? I like the podcast. I like what they do. I like what they talk about. So this is not any disrespect towards that podcast. I'm just saying that kind of didn't sit well. Another thing, before I get into what Tekashi was talking about in the interview, is I kind of feel like, I heard Joe Budden, he kind of talked about why he didn't interview him. We see why Gillie the Kid didn't want to interview him. My thing is, if you guys are so hood, so street, so with the code of how things used to be, why not interview this guy and, maybe pick apart his story, ask him questions that nobody else is going to ask him. And I see that Tekashi, he pretty much is saying, like, yo, ask me anything. Nothing's off limits. I'm an open book. Like, say what you want. We'll just do the interview and it just be that. Why not, if you guys are so street, go ahead and do that? And this would be like, I would think like a teaching moment to everybody in hip hop. I feel like Tekashi 6ix9ine should have never been like involved in any type of gang or anything like that. I think this is their fault in a sense because they're, extorting this kid, you know what I mean? And allowing him to be a part of something that he should never have been a part of. So what comes with that, you know what I mean? Things can happen. I'm not saying he's right for what he did, but listening to the interview with the Shade Room, one thing I do want to say about that before I proceed, y'all couldn't think to get like a high definition camera or nothing, You about to interview Tekashi. This is one of the biggest artists, you know what I mean, on his own, charting Billboard, #1, doing things like this. You couldn't think to rent a camera or something? You know what I mean? Like, why is my camera looking better than the camera that y'all got? Like, that don't make no sense. You know, but maybe y'all just felt like, yo, like, it ain't really worth all that. But, I mean, why do you got a 2-part interview? You trying to get the most amount of views, maximize. Like, why would you not? You know, I just thought that was kind of crazy. And then the owner of it, or whoever her name is, I don't talk crazy about you. You know what I mean? But you cutting him off, like, when he's trying to talk and tell you, like, different timelines in the story just to, you know, for silly things, I just didn't get. But I understand you not interviewing people like that often, you know, in that type of setting, so I could give you a pass on that. As far as Tekashi, what he's saying, he's kind of revealing some of the things that we all know. Like, kind of, you know, if you watch a lot of these people's blogs and people talk about the case, nothing that Tekashi said was new. The only thing he did in the interview was put a timeline to everything. And I think it was kind of an orchestrated interview. For him, the type of person that he seems like he is, I don't think he remembers timelines. I'm pretty sure somebody, you know, gave him some sort of media training to be able to go into an interview, put the timelines out, create the story, you know, whether true or false, in order to make Shotty and Harv kind of look like the villains in this situation. My personal opinion, I kind of think they are the villains. You know, when you kind of looking at, you know, the wiretaps and listening, they trying to put a hit out on him. Jim Jones, like, you know, why isn't Jimmy being talked about in any of this? You know what I'm saying? 50 said Jimmy was a snitch. Nobody's talking about Jimmy, you know what I mean? But Jim Jones, like, all these different things, like, happening to him, you know. But, you know, I'm seeing Shotty messing with his girl. He's, you know, 6ix9ine kind of put all these people in a position where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Shotty's like skimming from the top, you know, in terms of, you know, booking shows that are $180,000, giving Tekashi 6ix9ine like 80,000, pocketing the rest, like stealing money from off top, messing with his girl, you know, and smiling in his face, acting like nothing's going on, trying to set him up to get, you know, murdered, and you know what I mean? Like, you in a situation where you get kidnapped and, you know, the place where you live at is kind of revealed, and the only person that knows where you live is like Shotty, and you know, you trying to call him, he ain't picking up the phone, and you know, all these different situations. Like, I'm kind of feeling like for a kid like that to be, and I don't want to say it like, oh, he's just like an innocent victim. Like, he knew the game he was playing. You know, I say that, you know, and from a civilian point of view, like somebody like me, you might catch a couple of these snitches. You know what I'm saying? From a civilian point of view, you know, but being real about it, it doesn't matter. You know, you got to think about Goodfellas, you know, like, you know, Sammy the Bull, you know, like people like that. You got to think about people snitch, you know, for whatever reasons. You know, some people do it to save themselves. Of course, Tekashi was facing a lot of years. But I think people are having a problem, the old heads in hip hop, you know, is that you signed up for that life. You know, so when you sign up for that life and you using that life in order to further your music career, it's kind of like, you know, yeah, they're doing all these bad things and setting you up, but that's kind of like what goes along, like with like a mafia. That's kind of what'll happen to you. You know, like the people that smile in your face be the ones stabbing you in the back, or the people that smile in your face be the ones like at the board meetings, you know, with the, you know, the head people like trying to get you hit. That's just what it is. You know, if you make a mistake or you rub people the wrong way, they try to rub you out. That's just what it is. It's just what happens. Like with mafia or any type of gang related like activity like that, especially when you're involved in that. You know, so I don't feel like the culture has really much sympathy for him. Like, especially the old heads, because that's what you signed up for, Tekashi. And I don't think you understand that. You know, and the way you went about it, you know, you talking to Joe, and then you running and you talking to Gillie, and the way you talk about everybody behind their back. I'm listening to the story that you putting out, you know, about Shotty, about, you know, how you were dealing with like this whole situation, your trial. And I'm looking at it like, Tekashi's probably trying to just pull the wool over all of our eyes, to create a story, to create a narrative, to make people, you know, empathetic to what he went through, you know. But with the type of style he has in terms of how he talks about people behind their back, what he does, was some of that stuff that Shotty did warranted? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, you know, anytime anybody tries to mess with, if you cool with somebody, somebody's making you rich, you do not mess with that girl. It's just something you don't do. You know what I mean? That's kind of crazy for him to be doing that, skimming off the top and stuff like that. But what type of relationship did they actually have? If Tekashi is behind the scenes talking to people in entertainment, they say no to something, and he's like behind the scenes dealing with other people, trying to stir up things and talking crazy about them. Even academics that has been holding him down on his Instagram, his Twitter, his, you know what I mean? Like his platforms, even Twitch, going at it with Adam22, you know, from No Jumper and doing all that, holding you down, and you talking subversive, you know what I mean? That's a Sopranos word. You know what I mean? You talking subversive about academics to Gillie. That's kind of wild when you think about it. And this is a guy that's trying to garner up some sort of support so his music may do a little bit better, or, you know, he may be able to have a little bit more reign, or I should say maneuverability in the hip hop culture. You know, so I don't know. You know, listening to his story, I feel like one of y'all probably should have interviewed him. You know, but I get it. You got principle, you got all that, but your principle made you record somebody's conversation and blast it to the public without the permission. You got to think also, Gillie, and this is no diss to you, I think you know how this goes, like in entertainment. You do something like that and blast him out there, you could be liable, you know, for some sort of repercussions in terms of legally, you know, but you are willing to put it all out on the line to show people exactly your stance on the situation, like you just not rocking with him. But how did he get in touch with you or feel comfortable enough to talk to you like that, you know, anyway? Like, was y'all kind of low-key, like, having some sort of communication, but now it's just like, you just done with it now? Like, I'm kind of confused off of the whole thing, you know, but I do want to say shout out to all of them. I rock with their platforms. I think, you know, even though Joe Budden's talked crazy about me before, you know what I mean? Like, I still didn't really talk about the stuff he got going on, you know, which I might. Because I'm talking about everything now, Joe, I might do it. You know what I mean? But I feel like we're in a situation now to where Tekashi, I feel like, is, I will say, the quintessential or the biggest, like, snitch that ended up turning his career around to making it profitable, to put music out there and to, you know, still have people, like, rocking with his music. I want to see somebody that is of the code interview this guy, break him down, break down the situation, and put him in his place to be like, yeah, man, like, you snitched, and I see that you felt like good about being locked up, like, oh, it's over, like, I'm sleeping with the rats, it's cool. You know, I seen you do all this, but that's not cool. Like, put it out there to him. You think the Shade Room is going to talk to him like that? You know, so what's the issue with not, like, who y'all trying to, you know what I mean? I get it. You don't want the hip hop community to be like, okay, well, Gillie, you will do anything for numbers. Or Joe, you will do anything for numbers. But why not use this as a teachable moment, I would say, to interview somebody like that and, you know, ask the questions that people probably want y'all to ask him or want a street person to ask him. You know, instead of just saying, no, I'm not doing an interview. See, I'm cool now. I'm not doing it. You know, why not take that step and do it? You know, but I can understand how fans would think like, yo, he a rat. You know what I mean? But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. The story that Tekashi put out with Shade Room, what do I think about it? I think that's just what comes with it, bro. I think that's what comes with it. Like, you did what you did. You used them, they used you. You know, and you got into a situation. People felt like they were crossed. Like, you said it. Like, you went on, like, The Breakfast Club and said you fired everybody and, you know, the fake bloods, this and that. You know what I mean? You pretty much said, like, how a person would be feeling, like, why they would turn on you to a, you know, at a point like that. This is This is gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna turn on you. You do something like that. Like, this is not entertainment for a lot of them. You know what I mean? But at the same token, you know, they were kind of doing you dirty, and you felt like you had to do what you had to do. And do I think he's wrong for snitching? I mean, he's not a gang. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If he's a real diehard civilian, and they knew that, I can't feel bad for Shotty. You know, all y'all tried to use each other. This is gonna happen with a kid like that. He's a rainbow head kid. Like, what you think he gonna do? This is not rocket science. We ain't trying to build a new Tesla. Like, this is what it is. Like, this is what he's gonna do. You know, but what would I do in a situation? I ain't in the game. I don't do that. You know, you doing all this crazy stuff. You set me up. You might, you know what I mean? Or you might catch a couple of these snitches. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. But I feel like Joe Budden, to be real, you should have did the interview. $1 million worth of game, you should have did the interview. Shade Room, their YouTube channel, I mean, they got subscribers, but people don't really rock with them all like that. But I get it. Y'all wanted to take a stance, and you don't want other popular celebrities to think that y'all just, you know, out here trying to view chase, you know, so I'm conflicted with that. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Do you feel like they should have did the interview? And then Joe Buttons is basically saying that he recorded the conversation between himself and the management and, like, you know what I mean? Like TEKASHI and all that. So people are recording conversations and doing things like right under y'all noses. Like, that doesn't, you know what I mean? In battle rap, we had a situation where a battle rapper was accused of snitching. And he recorded a conversation that he was having with his lawyer, wiretapping his lawyer. He caught a lot of heat for that. In the entertainment industry, that doesn't warrant, like, any type of questioning at all. You know, that's wild to me. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? And then we got, nobody's talking about Jim Jones. Like, what he got to do with this? Is he that street? Nobody want to say nothing about it? Why was he even kind of in, like, I don't know, bruh. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.